Hello and welcome to Season 2 of CNBC-TV18 and Intel present Future-Proof Your Business. I'm Mridu Bhandari. Well, it has been a rather unusual year for all of us as we continue to cope with a raging pandemic that's causing losses of precious lives and business and economy around the world. However, as is the case with most crises, this one has also brought some opportunities, particularly for the acceleration of digital transformation and showing us the true potential of emerging technologies. So as we move towards Digital India 2.0, with about 800 million people getting connected to the internet by 2023, how can technology really help us lead better lives and make us a far more inclusive nation? And what should enterprises be doing in the new normal to really future-proof their business? Those are some of the questions that we are aiming to answer here today with our panel of thought leaders. Let me welcome them. Prakash Mallya, Vice President and MD, Sales, Marketing and Communications Group, Intel India. Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, Joint Managing Director, Apollo Hospitals Group. V Kamakoti, Member, National Security Advisory Board. And Vamsi Krishna, CEO and Founder at Vedantu. Welcome, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us here on Future-Proof Your Business. Well, technology really has been the backbone of our life over the last 6 months in particular, keeping business and our personal lives going to a large extent. So let me begin by asking you, Prakash, to set the context of this conversation for us. What are some of the mega trends in terms of technology that you've observed over the last couple of months? We have seen a tremendous surge in online shopping, in edutech, in e-health, in digital payments, for instance. Give us a sense of how the technologies that are driving all of these are going to shape us in the post-COVID-19 world and lead us to Digital India 2.0.
Yeah, thank you, Mridu. And thank you to all the panelists also. It's great to be interacting with you remotely. And you started the conversation really well, Mridu, when you said that it is a crisis, but it is also an opportunity. And that's the way I look at it, because when you look at India, I feel this crisis has provided us single largest opportunity to transform the nation using technology. And you already started to see the early trends for it, 500% increase in teleconsultation on a remote basis, or 3x growth in e-commerce as an example. So these are early trends. And I will break it down into 4 big moves or trends that will happen in the coming few years that can really set the country towards a transformation path. Number 1 is everything becoming on a path to cloud. Cloudification of everything. All the services would be delivered on the cloud. You see Forrester talk about 76% of the CEOs believe that in the next 5 years, their business model is going to get disrupted by the evolution of cloud. So cloud will accelerate in this country, and you're already starting to see that. The second is, in that vein, you would see the ecosystem getting diversified dramatically. I will give you one example of it. There are 1,600 deep tech startups in the country. They are growing since 2014 at the rate of 40%. And you will see this part of that ecosystem, the deep tech itself, dramatically diversified over the coming few years. And that will fuel innovation for the country and innovation for the world as well. The third one, when you look at everything being cloudified, the ecosystem being diversified, the talent part of the country, you're talking about 4.2 million developers. This is the single largest digital talent base around the world. And with the fact that everyone is working from home, this talent can really fuel digital transformation, not only for the country, but for the world. And I'll give you one example of that. Arogya Setu app got built by 20 to 30 people, built and tested in a span of 21 odd days. It's a great testament to the talent that we have in this country. And all these 3 big trends will be fueled by localized infrastructure that is going to get built as a combination of government's policies, as well as large local, as well as global small and large companies, all combined, collaborating towards creating that ecosystem. And that ecosystem would span cloud, it will span 5G, it could span several other places. And some part of it has already started happening over the last few years. Aadhaar, GST, digital payments could be great examples. And built on top of that would be the verdict-specific platform, National Digital Health Mission, as an example. These are ways in which infrastructure would be localized and accelerating the path towards transformation. So I'm really bullish that Intel, along with all the partners together, can really shape the journey of transformation of India over the coming few years.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so let me also bring in Dr. Sangeeta Reddy. You're a firm believer of driving innovation in healthcare technology. Give us a sense of how technology has helped, particularly in managing the COVID-19 outbreak, and particularly also in empowering your frontline workers, keeping them safe during the last couple of months. What else have you done with emerging technologies like AI, robotics, blockchain, or whatever else?
So this is a massive question, but it would be a pleasure to share this journey. I think it's been approximately 261 days since we realized that this pandemic was upon us. And in the ensuing time, India, of course, came in slightly later into the game, but the fact is that we needed to transform. We needed to change so many things to bring speed and responsiveness into the way we looked at it. So we looked first from what is the information vertical? How do we enable people to understand what's upon them, both our staff as well as our, the patients and patient families? So prevention, education and prevention. Then there was the aspect of isolation. Then there's the treatment, and then there's the continued education to the greater community. So in each one of these aspects, I think technology has played a tremendous role. To start with, on the information side and connecting to public, our mobile app, which is, it's about under 6 months from the time we launched it, and with over 13.5 million downloads, it's one of the fastest growing healthcare apps anywhere. And COVID, enabled this thing to happen. But within 7 days of lockdown, we actually came out with an AI-enabled COVID risk score. And then quickly also gave people a dial-in free teleconsult. So the combination created engagement, created credible information. And, my hope and estimate is that we did a lot of prevention because people were educated and understood what needed to be done.
Let me move to online education. And Vamsi, you've been in the online education space for about 6 years now. You saw the potential back then. In a sense, has the pandemic been the biggest catalyst to your business? What are the big opportunities that have opened up? And how much of this shift to online learning do you expect is going to become permanent?
Online education is something which is a great tool for enabling the quality education access to the masses. What we have personally seen during these times of pandemic is what this particular situation has done is given the option of the schools, all of the teachers, principals, school authorities talking about online classes. The category awareness of this whole online classes and online education has really gone up, and that I would say would do a lot of good even when this whole situation becomes normal, which I hope it becomes soon. What it has really opened up is the possibilities of what online education can do. Now even schools are talking about some hybrid solutions wherein even when situation becomes normal and schools reopen, maybe the entire curriculum they would not really continue like this. Maybe some of the things they will still look at doing in a an online way, and probably few in a an offline way. So I think that is a great learning experience for all of us, especially all the teachers. I have huge respect to them because we should understand this and full empathy to them, that this has been something which didn't come as a warning. It was just like it was a change, and a sudden change. All the schools went through lockdown, and the next day we are talking about schools talking about online education, and these teachers were not equipped with respect to the infrastructure or the content or even the pedagogy. What this last 6 months ought have done clearly is taught all of us that how can we adapt ourselves to this new pedagogy. And I think this will do a huge bring a lot of goodness to the way teaching and learning is perceived. So overall I think a lot of goodness to the category awareness. And your last question, with respect to the growth itself, as far as Vedantu, I can tell you that obviously strong tailwinds in online education. We have seen all the numbers growing 6-fold to 10-fold, right, in terms of the top of the funnel, the users who are coming to our app and the on the platform. But I should just qualify this by saying that this was any which ways even happening before. I think as online education sector in India, we were looking at 3x growth year on year. What this situation has done is maybe make that 3x become a 5x and a 6x, and given a lot of category awareness to this, in front of the in the minds of the educators and the parents, and that I think is a greater goodness, which will benefit all of us in the long term.
Let me also bring in Dr. Kamakoti. Dr. Kamakoti, of course, Prakash was mentioning earlier about the Arogya Setu app that has been crucial. Give us a sense of how the government is planning to leverage deep tech, artificial intelligence in particular, to really, really transform lives of people at the bottom of the pyramid, the underprivileged people at the last mile.
Sure. So the pandemic has actually shown that technology can be a potential problem solver in a large way. If you take the Arogya Setu, as Prakash mentioned, it was just a 21-day effort by the set of 20 to 30 people. And it stands testimony today that it is accessible to everyone, and where this notion of inclusion has come in. Three important things come up when we want to adopt technology, specifically from the critical things like education, health, way of living, etc. Now, the first part is the proper assimilation and collection of data, and I think that is sort of a very cooperative effort. That there should be a lot of public sensitization about the way they need to share data and what will the stakeholders do with that data. I think that is one big step that we need to move forward, and the government will be certainly looking at. The National Digital Health Mission is one step in that direction. The second important thing that comes up is about the privacy aspect. If you actually look at, I'm just taking Arogya Setu as an example here. It has been privacy first, so there have been extreme care that is being taken to maintain the privacy of people who submit their own health data, etc. And that is going to be major stuff. The next thing is about cybersecurity. As all the speakers had mentioned, this is going to be extremely important because of the hacking and other things that we are reporting, and systems also becoming very complex. Government will be shortly bringing out a cybersecurity policy, which would be governing many of these issues. Now, the last part is about communication. I think 5G is coming up, and slowly within a few more years, 6G will come, and this generations will go up. It is the notion of the industry has to really come up and say, okay, I'm going to use these technology. I think this pandemic has enabled many of them to start looking at data as a real wealth of information, so that this is very crucial for any sort of virtual collaboration that we need to do. I think that is also coming up very important, and the communication strategies has to become, will play a very important role. 5G, 6G is going to become extremely crucial in taking this forward. I think the government will certainly enable a lot of things, but it is up to the industry to use those facilities and technically upgrade themselves, and that is also very important. So it is a government, industry, people cooperative effort that is going to make us world leaders.
Right. And on that very positive note, let's head into a short break right now. But on the other side, we'll talk about harnessing the power of data that many of our panelists were just talking about. Stay with us right here on Season 2 of CNBC-TV18 and Intel present Future Proof Your Business. Welcome back to Season 2 of CNBC-TV18 and Intel present Future Proof Your Business. Today, our focus is on the theme of moving towards Digital India 2.0, and I'm joined by eminent business and policy leaders. Dr. Reddy, if I can come to you, technology, of course, is increasingly making healthcare far more accessible, far more affordable. We heard earlier a little bit about the government's Digital India Health Mission and Health ID for medical records. These are, ways forward to create a core digital database, e-health records. What sort of opportunities does this open up for healthcare providers at large?
So the National Digital Health Mission is, one way of looking at the digitization journey. But I think we need to take a step back into the core, which is actually the Ayushman Bharat. So if the country has a mission of universal health access and universal health coverage, an insurance cover, the healthcare infrastructure of treating doctors, patients, hospitals, a primary healthcare enhancement, and then a digital connectivity into this are the building blocks of a powerful health ecosystem. So having said that, let me focus on the digital side. I think that an open digital health ecosystem can actually spur fundamental transformation in India's healthcare system. It can unlock economic value worth over $200 billion by the year 2030. Because healthcare will demand an increase by a cumulative value of about 150 to 160 billion due to improved access and affordable healthcare solutions. Now, efficiencies in the healthcare delivery will arise by the adoption of these standardized digital practices and create about 40 to 50 billion of savings. Now, this is significant. And 5 themes are going to drive this transformation. One is information transparency. Where is the patient going? What's the procedure? What's the standard treatment rates, etc. Second is interoperability. How does the central digital health mission flow along with a hospital or a nursing home's HIS? The third is the standard claim processing, so that the hundreds and thousands of claims which will be processed, I think it's 1.2 crore claims that have been processed so far in this. So standardized processing and appropriate data capture. The next other big advantage is going to come of prescription digitalization. And in the light of all this, this will become a sandbox for innovation.
Prakash, I also want to ask you, businesses of all shapes and sizes today are looking to harness the power of data, leveraging AI, leveraging analytics, future-proofing themselves. What are the big challenges that they need to navigate, and what is that core foundation that needs to be put in place to really succeed in Digital India 2.0?
I feel a couple of areas that people need to pay attention to. One, all the panelists talked about the fundamental building block of the entire transformation rests on one thing: data. So how you collect, how you store, how you process data becomes extremely crucial. And sometimes in organization, there are data silos, data doesn't talk to different departments, all of it. So a data strategy for any company is going to be extremely important. And the second part is, how does the infrastructure that you have invested in shape that journey towards data-led transformation? So one size does not fit all here. The workloads are very different. The workloads like AI and analytics versus workloads which are different from that could require a different infrastructure. So that's why the infrastructure is also a foundation that you can really accelerate your journey on. That's why a lot of our engagements with our customers and partners is oriented towards helping them choose the right infrastructure and helping them develop the right data strategy and set them on a path to accelerating the transformation of themselves and contributing to the country's transformation.
I want to ask each one of you, as stakeholders of Digital India 2.0, what is the one lowest hanging fruit that you are going to be aiming for in the near future?
We are staring in the face of the biggest opportunity that the country has been provided to use technology to leapfrog the nation. And you saw just a couple of examples: education and healthcare. What technology can do. Dr. Reddy talked about it, Vamsi talked about it. Both of them articulated very well. Dr. Kamakoti talked about what government can do to go enable. So significant opportunity for all of us. Second point I would make is it's a great opportunity for us to collaborate together to really transform and create an inclusive India.
Dr. Kamakoti?
That we are talking of so far comes under one banner called cyber physical systems. Department of Science and Technology has brought in a very ambitious program, which is now in action, called National Mission on Cyber Physical Systems. I believe that cyber physical system is the umbrella under which everything that Dr. Reddy, Prakash, and Vamsi has been talking of comes under one banner, and I think, and it spreads across all these sectors. I think a very strong orientation towards cyber physical system, educating the public on that, making good use of it, and bringing out indigenous Indian solutions towards Atmanirbharta, which the Honorable PM is mentioning. I think that is going to be a real game changer, and we, as technologists, we look forward to that.
And Vamsi, lowest hanging fruit for you?
I really look at future wherein I would want the cost of the education to be further disrupted. And many of the technologies which we were discussing, including AI, machine learning, probably going in the direction of AI teacher. These are all, very not so distant, yet very, inspirational stuff which I look forward to, which can cause disruption in the price of education and enable quality teaching at scale.
Well, we are completely timed out on this special conversation. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today and sharing your valuable ideas into making India a truly digitized nation and creating value for people at the bottom of the pyramid. Well, that's a wrap of this edition of Future Proof Your Business. We'll be back next time with lots more. Until then, stay safe. Goodbye.